So hey there, my name is Akshay and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. And in today's video, we are going to learn about the last thing in MySQL, that is hosting. So we are going to host a web page which has a form HTML, and we are going to take the data from that HTML form and store it into our database. So throughout this video, I'll create a form and I'll create a PHP file. We are going to use the PHP to link the MySQL to the HTML form so that you may be able to retrieve the data from the web page. Okay, so let us start with the softwares that you're going to need to run all these things. Okay, so first software that you will need is, wait. So the first thing that you're going to need is XAMPP. So you can search for XAMPP and you can go to download over here and you can download any version which you want. I have the latest version, that is 8.1.5, and you can work on any older versions as well. Okay, so you just have to download it and install it. So the installation process is also very it is also very easy, and it is very uh, what you can say convenient for us to install this. You just have to press the next again and again, and you have to select the path where you want to install, and then you can just click on install. Okay, then after that you also need one more application, that is VS Code. Okay, so I'll code in the VS Code because I like this ID and it shows me my errors in a very efficient way. That's why I'm using this ID. And you can download VS Code from here. You can go for the user installation 64-bit setup, and you can download this and install this. I have already installed both of these programs. So first, let me open XAMPP. Okay. Now, this is the XAMPP control panel. So what you have to do is, in the beginning, it will be like this, like all of these servers are used. Okay. So what you have to do is you just have to press the start over here and start over here too. And then as soon as you do that, the servers have already started. Okay. So then what you have to do is you have to click on MySQL admin. Uh, So we have started both of these server, and the next thing you have to do is click on this admin. So when you click on admin, this page will open and it will show you the structure of this web page. Okay. So this is my PHP admin, and here you can see there are all the databases that are present inside this computer over here. And for the code, let me open first, we'll open htdocs, which is the folder which you want to open for running all the files of the hosting. Okay, so open the XAMPP folder wherever you have installed it and search for htdocs. So this is the folder over here, and inside this folder, you just have to create another folder over here. So I'll just name the folder as GFG. Okay, and inside this GFG folder, I'll open it with VS Code. Okay, so this folder is now open. Okay, and this is our VS Code interface. As you can see, GFG folder is now created and opened inside the VS Code. So I'm just getting things ready so that I'll be able to work on this database without any problem. Okay, so we have all these things opened right now. Let me minimize them all and show you what uh, we are gonna do. So first, we have to create a database. Okay. So for creating a database, you just have to go to phpMyAdmin and you can open your console from here. Okay. Now inside the console, we are gonna write all the queries inside the console because we already know SQL by now, and I've already taught you the whole concept of SQL. So we are gonna create a database of GFG. Then after that, you have to press Control plus Enter to run this query. So this database is now created and it is represented over here. Okay. Now inside this GFG, so first we are gonna use this GFG database, and inside this database I'll create a table. So inside this, I'll create a table. First, let me show you another thing. So what I want is, I don't want to create an HTML form from the stocks. Okay. So I'll just search for HTML form templates of CodePen. Then this website is really helpful if you want the templates over here. Okay. So you can search for any of the templates like this, and you can just select any of the template. Like I'm gonna select this border form over here, and after selecting this, this is the code available over here. Okay, so I'll just use this code, and first have let us have a look at what are the columns. So I'll take first four columns over here, and I'm not gonna take the message column over here. Okay, so the name of my column names will be first name, surname, email, and full. So these are the four columns. So for that, we'll create a table. Create table. The table name should be user data, and inside this user data table, so the column name should be first name, then the data type should be character, and the size should be, let's say, 30, and it should not be null. Okay, then after that, the second column is name, and the data type is character, and the length is 40, let's say, and it is also not null. Okay. Then the third column will be what? Just it is the email column, right? So email is there. Then in the email column, the data type will be character. Let's say the length is 40, which is enough for an email. There's also null. Okay. Then after that, the last column will be 4, and the data type should be integer. The length should be. Let's not take the phone. Let's take the name as code, and inside the code I'll just give the size as, let's say, 30, and let us close this table and create this. So this is the table syntax that we learned in SQL in the previous videos, and I was running on the command line, right? So let us try to run this. So this table is now created. So this query ran successfully. And to check if this query table is created or not, you can check it over here that user data is available over here. That means that this table is now created. Okay. So if I click on username, as you can see, here is our table, that is first name, surname, email, and code. Okay. So this is the name of our table, and this table is now successfully created. Now let us create the HTML form. So for creating the HTML form, I am just gonna copy the code from here, because I don't want to create the whole HTML form which looks very ugly. Okay, so let me first create an HTML file. For that, I'll give index.html. Okay, this is the index.html file. So first we'll use the emit abbreviation to get the whole data, the whole template over here. So the basic template of the form. Then you just have to paste the code over here of the HTML code of the form. Then I'm gonna delete this column and rename the phone to code. Okay. Then after that, what I'll do is I'll put a form over here. Okay. In the action, I'll write insert dot php, and after that, type. Wait. Just a minute. Yeah, I have to give the method over here, and the method is post. So I just selected the post method over here, and for the ending of this form, I'll just cut it and paste it at the end of this div, so that this form is now ended. So this is the whole HTML form that I just created over here, and it was pretty easy. Now let us have a look at it in the web browser after pasting the CSS over here. So for the CSS, I'll just select the style tag, Inside the style tag, I'll just paste the CSS code over here. So this is the CSS code, and I've copied it, and then I will paste it inside the style. Okay. So this is our style code, and it shows an error over here, that is border size. Let us just remove the size attribute from here, and okay. So now this is done, and we have successfully created the HTML form. Now let me just show you that how does this form look. So we have not yet created insert.php file. Let me just create that file as well. Okay, so this is the insert.php file, and if you erase this now, like, so it shows us the recommendation that this file is also available over here. Now let us have a look at it in the web browser. So this is our HTML form that is pre-made over here, and due to something, this submit button is not expanding over here. So if I zoom it in a little bit, it is expanding. Okay. So we'll just take this form as it is, and let us change the things inside this form. Okay. So what you have to change is, first let me tell you what do you have to change in the HTML code over there. So we set the basic parameters of the form to be method to be post and the action to be insert.php, right? Then the next thing you have to do is you have to provide the name in the input field. Okay. So you have to give name, and inside the name I'll give first name, and after the first name I'll give required. So this field is required, that means, okay. And then for the next input I'll give name, then the surname, then required. Then I'll do the same for the next two as well. Okay, name, email, required. Then after that, I'll do the same with the last one as well. And name, code, and I'll write required over it. So this name is changed to code. Okay. If these are all the changes that you have to do inside the HTML over here, and I think that is it for the HTML file over here, and we have successfully created this web page without any errors. Now let us write the PHP. Okay, so for the PHP, I'll start with creating the variables. So first, let me open PHP. Right, this is how you open PHP. Right, if you don't know PHP, then you can just copy this amount of code over here, and you can make the changes as I'm telling you. So first, uh, you will have to give the column name that you used in the username. First name is the first variable, and I'll use the post method. Okay. So post method is more secure. That's why we are using this post method. And inside the post, you have to give the column name. So the first name is the first column, right? And you have to use square brackets over here. And yeah, so this is the code for the first name, and so we have copied it 4 times, and I'll just change the variables a little bit. So it is surname, and surname over here too. Then the third one was name, and I'll write email here as well. And the last column was code, right? So I'll write code over here, and code over here as well. So these are now created. Now we will write one if statement that if any of these variables are empty, first name, then or name, then after that I'll give the email, and then after that I'll have to add another column over here, that is the last column. Last column is code, right? So yeah, that's how we write the if statement. And I have not provided dollar over here. Okay. So variable declaration is done by the dollar symbol, and this is the variable name, and we are using the post method to get the variable, and this is the column, right? And we are taking the same column name so that it may not show any errors, and it will be very easy for us to debug the code if it shows any. Then what you have to do is you have to write post, and post will be the host. So we are hosting with XAMPP. That's why the host is localhost. Then you have to give DB name. Then username is root. You don't have to look this code into detail. You just have to follow me as I write this. Okay. This code will be same for all the tables that you create. It's not changed. And the last variable will be DB, and inside the DB name there will be the the database name is GFG, right? So I'll select GFG over here, and after that I'll make a connection. So for the connection we use CONN is equal to new MySQLi. Then inside the MySQLi we use those, then the big username, then the big password, and at the end we'll give the last variable, that is db name. So this is the query which we are running to connect the database and establish a connection. Okay. So this will establish the connection between our table. Let me increase font size a little bit. Yeah, should be visible to you, and I'll also turn on the word wrap. So this is how we establish the connection, and then what you have to do is you have to write an if statement. So in MySQL I connection error. If it is having error, then you have to do is you have to die. Die means that you are ending the program, and connection error. After that, you have to give the MySQLi error number, and after that, we will attach the bracket closing. Yeah, we have done that, and then MySQLi connection error. Yeah, so this is the basic query to solve this. Like if it the connection is failed, then it's gonna end the program and it's gonna show this error. Like this error code will be represented by error number, right? So that's why we have used it. Then after that, we have to end this query by using a semicolon first. Then after that, we have to create else statement. Like if the connection is established, then what you have to do. So if the connection is established, you just have to write select. Then inside the select, I'll write the SQL query. So select email from G user data, where email is equal to question mark. Okay, and the limit is 1. So what does this statement mean? This statement means that we have to check the email, that if this email is present inside the database, and the other variable that I'm going to make is insert. So inside the insert variable, we will write the insert code. Okay, so insert into the data values, and inside the values I'll give two question mark. Then after that you have to press a semicolon. So this is our basic insert query, and we will try to run our commands on this insert query. Okay, so now let me add one more thing, stmt. Now let us copy it. So there are total 5 stmt commands over here. Now you just have to write down this just as I'm doing right now, because this code is pretty much similar for most of the database. So first we will prepare the select query. You may not understand this perfectly, but I'll try to explain it as much as possible. First, I told you at the end that we were gonna bind the data to prevent the SQL injection, right? So this is how we bind the data so that SQL injection can be prevented. Okay. Now, okay. So this S is used for string because email was of the type character, right? So that's why we are using S over here. Now, if you want to check any other kind of data type over here, then you have to provide I for integer and U for double. Okay. And the process is pretty simple. You just have to write the string name, the variable which is this corresponding to that string after the comma. Then you have to execute. Okay. Then the next thing is the bind result. Inside the bind result, I'll bind the email. So this result is now binded, and at the end, what we are going to do is store result of this answer. Okay. Then after that, we will create another variable that is our num, and inside this variable, we will call the stmt and num underscore rows. So we are calling this function, and so we have got this function now. And after that, what you have to do is you have to write a if statement, that if our num is equal to 0, then you have to use the connection stmt. You just have to write these things that I'm writing right now. You can copy paste it as well, and I'll provide you the link in description for the code available for this website. Okay. Then prepare and insert command we are preparing over here. Okay. So yeah, we have prepared the connection, and we are running the insert query over here. If email, so let me explain you one thing, that what does this piece of code do? Okay, so it binds the parameters of email with our database, so that if our database is empty, like if you have already entered an email, so it's gonna check that if the email that the user is trying to filter is matching of any other emails inside the database, and if that email already exists, then we are going to show that someone has already submitted the form from this email. And if you don't want that, then you can if that email is not present inside our database, then we want that this rows should be inserted inside the table. So the if statement, like if the r num is equal to true, that if this condition that the email is present inside the table is false, then we are gonna do is we are gonna make the we are gonna run the insert query. Uh, okay. Then inside the insert query, we will insert the data. So wait, let me write few lines of code. Okay. Then I'll explain it. Okay. So here you have to give. So here we have given 3s and 1n. So what does this mean? So 3s belongs to the three strings that we have, and this single I belongs to what? The integer. So first three columns were the first name, surname, email, and the last one was code, right? So the code was of integer type, and the other three were of character type, right? So that's why we are using strings over there, and we have used the integer for the last column, that is the code. Then let me add the four columns inside the commas over here so that it may recognize them. Then classroom code, and so this query is completed now, and wait, yeah. So this query is successfully written, and after that you have to do the stmt command again, and this time we are trying to execute. So the execution part is done. After that, we have to print. So for the printing, we are using the echo statement and submit it. So this fully. Uh, then after that, you have to write the else statement that if that email already exists, then what you have to print. So I'll print that someone already submitted for using this email. So this is the message that I'm gonna print if the email already exists inside our database. And after that, what we have to do, we have to terminate the stmt. Uh, for that, we use the close. Then the last thing we are gonna do is we are gonna stop the connection as well. Okay. Good. So this connection is also closed now, and you have noticed that we have written if statement over here. So the else statement for this will be written over here. Okay. And inside the else statement, what I'll write down that echo all fields are required. So I have said that all fields are required, that you have to input each and every field to be able to insert data inside our database. So that's why I'm providing an else statement with this if, so that if any of these are not empty, then we will run this amount of code, and if all of some of the fields are empty, then it's gonna show that all fields are required. And at the end, I have set it like it should end the connection and it should die. So die is basically exit command. So that is the basic uh, PHP that we used over here to insert the to run all these commands. And I have shown you, I have explained you like S is used for the characters and I is used for the integers, right? So this code is done now. So this is it for the PHP code, and you don't have to get into details. What you have to look at is this select query. So you can change this query and this insert query. You can get your table name over here and the number of columns over here. Then you can also provide columns. If you want to insert the data inside specific columns, then you can provide them over here. Okay. And the select statement is can be changed as well. Then you can provide the table name over here, and you can write any condition over here. I'm giving the condition as email is already present inside the table or not. So you can set any condition which you want, and it's gonna check for the select statement. Okay. Then the rest of the things will be same, and you can replace this email for any other thing that you want to check inside the database if you want to give a condition. And we are binding parameters so that SQL injection may be prevented, and the code is secure basically. So the user data that we are storing inside our tables is will be secure. So for that we are using the SQL injections. And if this whole thing executes successfully, then it's gonna submit the details inside our database. Now let me open the local host so that we may be able to run the queries. So for that, I'll use the local host, and after the local host, I have to put a slash and name the folder in which we have created. So localhost slash the folder name was GFG. Inside the HT docs, the folder name was GFG, right? So I'll just write GFG over here and press enter. So as you can see, this form is now available over here. Let me try to insert a few values. So Rohan, I'll give I'll give, and for the email, let me rs this number, and after that I have given the email over here, and you can give any code which you want. Like I have given this much code, and I'll press submit. So as soon as I press submit, this code is now submitted. And let us try to insert the same query again. Okay. So now this is showing us an error that someone has already submitted this form using this email. So for submission, you just have to change the email a little bit, and after that, you can still submit the form. So now we have inserted two rows inside this database, and let us have a look at it. Like how does this look inside the table? So yeah, so this is the description of our table, and as you can see, there are two rows inserted inside this table, and both of them have a different Gmail, and that's how we insert the data inside the database. And for accessing the data, we can use commands like this. Uh, yeah, so we can use this command to retrieve the data, and we can use the bind parameters to retrieve and check if that any of the queries matches the data from our database, and if it does, then we can execute a certain amount of statements. Okay. So it's pretty simple, and you don't have to learn the PHP in order to make this kind of form. You can just copy paste this code, and you can run the queries in a similar way. Okay, so I have successfully told you that how you can successfully create an HTML form and retrieve data from the user. So I guess that is it for this video, guys, and I have shown you the result of any kind of submission in your HTML form, and I have also explained you how do we create this HTML form and how do we post this. So this is it for this video, guys, and I think this is the end of the course, and I have already explained you about multiple things in SQL that you were gonna learn in order to learn SQL. And let me show you another thing that if you want to run queries inside the SQL, you can just run them from here. Like I want to select asterisk from user data, and I can run this query to get the output. And yeah, this is our result. And so you can run your code through the console, and you can get the data from this console. Okay? And what you can do is PHP admin has other features as well. Like if you want to create a table using a template, you can also create a table. Uh, you can go to structure, and you can insert records from here, and you can also create a table. Uh, I'll select GFG, and I can create a table from here. Like I can select the number of columns, and let's say the name is ASDF, and the number of columns is 4. Then you can just name your columns over here, and set the data type whichever you want, and you can give the values over here like the length of the variable, and you can also provide different things over here like the attributes and the signed unsigned binary, and you can also set the null index over here, and you can provide comments over here. And what does this statement do? At the end, if you run this code, the code will be available inside the console. So if you are trying to run a query which is very complex, and you are not able to run the MySQL query by yourself, then you can use this pre-made structure, and you can use this to create as many columns as you want. And as soon as you run those queries and create this table, like if I save this, then the code will be available in the console. So you can look at the code from here. So that's how we create tables inside MySQL PHP admin. PHP my admin. And I have already explained you the usage of this. How do we create this form and retrieve data from the user? Now, one more thing, you can go to practice.geeksforgeeks. Okay. And here you can go to courses, and you can go buy any of the courses which you want from here. And these courses are really helpful if you want to learn any concept in details, and are taught by professional mentors. Okay. And you can, if you want to learn more about SQL, you can buy this course called SQL self-paced course. This is a course, and you can buy this course, and you'll get mentorship, and you can learn at your own pace. And this course is very useful, and you can also post your queries in the comment section below, and I'll personally reply to all of those queries. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys, and this is the end of my SQL course. And yeah, see ya, have a nice day, and keep learning.